We're gonna do a mushroom pasta today, and I thought I would just bring you through the whole process step by step. But first, let's start with the ingredients. So naturally, we've got mushrooms. These are shiitake mushrooms. I'm just gonna be chopping off the bottoms, which are a little bit dirty. And then I also bought this porcini powder. I heard that if you really want to enhance the mushroom flavor of any dish, this is what you want to do. So I've been looking forward to using this. This will be the first time using this porcini powder. So excited about that. I also bought some vegetables. This is the last of the onions from last year that my vegetable person was selling, so I bought those. Also garlic scapes. This is a substitute for garlic. I think this is just a really young garlic that hasn't developed yet. You get a subtle garlic flavor without it being overpowering, so we're gonna add that. The seasoning is salt and pepper, really simple. I'm also gonna be using beef stock to deglaze a pan, and today we're going to be using a fresh pasta. I guess it's organic, which is cool. It's locally made, so that'll be fancy. And then last but not least, I'll be adding cream, and Judy's actually at the grocery store right now getting the cream, Parmesan from Costco. Outside of that, I'm going to do a little side salad for dinner, and I will start with prepping the ingredients, and then we'll start cooking. All right, so for the garlic scapes, I'm not really familiar with using this. I mean, I buy it every single year, but I'm just gonna cut off these end parts. Actually, maybe even farther in. See, I don't even know, should I use this part? I'm just gonna cut it and just see how it tastes. See, I almost feel like I shouldn't use that part. I like garlic scapes because it adds a nice green color to your dish. I didn't get any parsley or any other herbs, so this will be very, very simple. Let me just try this. See that? All right. It's very fragrant. Now, I wouldn't say this is really a great substitute for garlic. It's just something different. For the onion, I am just gonna cut off the peel, like to half it. Take off the outside layer, make it super easy. This one's coming off real nice. Same thing with this one. Let's see if it comes off. Oh, look at that. Maybe because it's older. This is from last year's crop. Same thing, very roughly chop this. It'll be thin, but for the mushrooms, keeping it really simple. Same thing though. I'm not gonna cut it too small, just cut off the ends. I don't like the ends, 'cause sometimes they can be a little bit too rough and tough. And then actually some strips like that. Now this seems like it's big, but once I roast these down or cook them down, they'll be much smaller. They'll be big enough though that it'll almost kind of be a meaty piece of mushroom. If you roast it and get that color on there, you'll get a lot of flavor out of it. There you go. Judy said she would like to have bacon. Bacon is a nice pairing with mushrooms. Same thing, rough chop. These are gonna shrink down a little bit, but what I am gonna do once I chop them is when I put them into the bowl, just gonna kind of break them apart a little bit so that I don't have to do it in the pan. All right, I've got my mise en place going on right here. I'll be cooking on this burner. I'll be boiling the pasta on this burner, but I've got the grill going because I want to get this blazing hot so that I can roast the mushrooms first. But a little trick I learned from YouTube from my friend Matt is if you dry roast the mushrooms, you bring out so much more flavor. Now the porcini mushroom powder, that's gonna really level everything up, but I'm gonna dry roast it first. But then what I'm gonna do is with the pan I'm dry roasting them on, I'm gonna move those cooked mushrooms, those roasted mushrooms, to a bowl. Then I'm gonna continue cooking on there so I get all that flavor that's on the pan into the pasta. And so I've got everything ready, and because it's fresh noodles, it will take literally 3 minutes, and this should be done fairly quickly. The thing that's gonna take the longest is literally roasting the mushrooms. So I will wait till that is blazing hot, throw the mushrooms onto the pan, and then I'll move them over there. And I'm gonna add them to the pan, which is actually pretty warm. I'll crank up this heat, but I'm gonna let it finish, of course, inside of the grill, which is at, right now it's at 500 degrees, and I'll probably go up to 600. I'm literally just gonna put all of them in there. Move these over here, right on in. Well, that's gonna be good. All right, it's been 5 minutes. I'm just gonna check on them. Oh yeah, oh yeah. All right, a little bit longer. 10 minutes later. All right, let's check out these mushrooms. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Now you gotta have a really nice glove here because this handle is blazing hot. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off this oven here. I'm not gonna do anything to this. I just want whatever flavor comes off of these mushrooms to be in the pan. I'm gonna go ahead and remove these mushrooms from the pan and then start on all the other ingredients. So these have dry roasted enough. I'm gonna remove it. Now there's no flavor on that. There's no salt, there's no oil, there's nothing. Now it's time to do the bacon. So I'm gonna turn the heat to low. I'm gonna probably use about half of this. Maybe a little more than half. All I'm doing here is trying to slow and low cook this bacon, get that fat coming out, and then that'll be the base of my sauce outside of the flavor of the mushrooms that's on the pan, which there's really not that much, but I figure why not. Bacon's rendered down, getting crispy, but I want to start adding the other ingredients before it gets too hard. Garlic scapes, I'm gonna do about half of these. I'm gonna crank up the heat actually to high. Same thing with the onions. Now I'm gonna add some salt. At this point, this is the first salt I'm adding. Plenty of pepper, which goes great with mushrooms. There we go. Oh yeah. I brought some olive oil out, but there's so much fat from the bacon, I may not need it. I will add a little bit before I add the mushrooms back, but yeah, there's a lot of bacon fat in here. Okay, I don't know if you noticed, but on the bottom of the pan, there's a lot of goodness down there, but before that burns, I'm gonna go ahead and deglaze the pan. Now you can use white wine, but I've got a little bit of leftover beef stock, so that's what I'm gonna use today. There we go. Whew. So yes, it looks a little bit much, but what I'm gonna do is reduce this down and concentrate the beef broth flavor. And then while that's happening, I'm scraping the bottom of the pan because all that stuff at the bottom is just pure flavor that I want in that mushroom cream sauce. Everything is scraped off the bottom, and now all you gotta do is let this reduce down. Last thing I'm gonna do is add some of this porcini mushroom powder. I've never used this before, so I'm gonna use a little bit and then taste it and then add more if I need some more. I heard this is a little secret my friend Matt told me about. So I'm gonna just try it a little bit. Oh my lordies, that is amazing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn on the heat to about medium high. Now I'm gonna go ahead and add the cream. You don't need too much, and you can always add more. But if you add too much, sometimes it can dilute the flavor. At this point, I am going to add the noodles to the pot of boiling water. Bella, what you doing? She wanted to hang out with me. Time to cook the pasta. This pasta will take, let's see what the directions say. Cooks 2 to 4 minutes, so I'll just do 4 minutes. I'm gonna do both of these. What I like about these Breville Control Freaks, there's a little timer on there. There we go. All right, there we go. Mushroom pasta, done. Let's try it. This right here. Is it creamy?
It's good.
Is it flavorful? Another thing about this too, or I bought the pasta at the farmer's market, and it's fresh. It's not dried.
I like the
You like the noodles?
Dad,